In the farthest reaches of the Veilwood Forest, where the trees whispered secrets older than the stars, there existed a kingdom that time itself seemed to forget. It was a place untouched by human hands, hidden beneath the shimmering canopy of silver-leafed trees and illuminated by a pale, eternal moon. This was the realm of the Moon Elves, a people whose beauty and magic were as fleeting as the twilight that marked their dawn. Legend spoke of their creation, how they were born from the first moonbeam that kissed the earth, gifted with grace, long life, and an affinity for the secrets of the night. Yet despite their gifts, the Moon Elves were reclusive. They thrived in harmony with nature, their cities built in harmony with the trees, carved from living wood and woven with moonlight. Towers spiraled like crescents, bridges shimmered with luminescent vines, and lanterns glowed with captured starlight, casting the kingdom in a soft silver glow that never faded. For centuries, the Moon Elves lived in quiet splendor, their lives a blend of art, magic, and music. They revered the moon as a deity, believing its phases governed the rhythm of their magic and their fates. But as their isolation grew, so did their vulnerability. Tales tell that one fateful night, when the moon hid behind a veil of clouds, the kingdom fell silent, and whispers of shadow crept through the trees. At the heart of the kingdom stood the palace of Luthien, the Moon Elf Queen, whose hair was spun silver and whose eyes mirrored the night sky. Queen Luthien was wise and gentle, her rule just, yet her heart carried the sorrow of countless moons. She had long foreseen a darkness creeping at the edges of their world, a hunger not for land or gold, but for the magic that flowed through her people like river water. Among her council was Kaelen, a young moon elf whose curiosity often drew him beyond the safety of Veilwood. His hair glimmered like strands of moonlight, and his eyes, violet as twilight, held the fire of restless wonder. Kaelen had always felt a pull towards the world beyond the trees, towards stories and secrets older than his kingdom. He would often wander to the edge of the forest, gazing at the distant lands where humans and other races dwelled, imagining the lives they led under the same moon he adored. On one such night, as a silver mist curled among the roots of ancient oaks, Kaelen discovered a strange glow near the outskirts of the kingdom. Following the light, he came upon a portal, hidden beneath a curtain of ivy. It pulsed softly, as if breathing, and he felt the tug of something powerful on his soul. Without hesitation, he stepped closer, sensing that this was no ordinary magic. Meanwhile, within the palace, Queen Luthien consulted her ancient tomes, reading of prophecies that spoke of both salvation and ruin. She knew the day would come when a moon elf would wander beyond the Veilwood, drawn by curiosity and destiny alike. Her heart ached as she sensed Kaelen's presence near the portal, feeling both pride and fear. Kaelen's discovery did not go unnoticed. In the shadows, a dark figure watched, a being of twisted magic who had long sought the Moon Elves' power. It had slithered through realms unnoticed, feeding on fear and ambition. This night, it sensed the pulse of the portal and knew that the key to the Moon Elves' magic was at hand. Its intentions were clear: seize the magic, and the Moon Elves would become nothing but a forgotten memory. Kaelen, oblivious to the lurking danger, reached out and touched the surface of the portal. A cold shiver ran through him, yet he felt a surge of energy that intertwined with his own magic. Images flashed before his eyes, lands of fire and stone, oceans that whispered secrets, creatures of unimaginable power, and a shadowed figure looming over it all. The portal was not merely a doorway, it was a bridge across worlds, a test of courage, and perhaps, a warning. As he withdrew his hand, the portal shimmered violently, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. The Moon Elves, sensing the disturbance, gathered near the palace. Lanterns swung in the misty night, casting eerie shadows, while the queen's voice carried through the trees, calm yet commanding. "Kaelen, return," she called, her voice threaded with both authority and desperation. But Kaelen could not move. The portal's call was stronger than fear, and he stepped forward again, the forest floor trembling beneath his feet. With a flash of silver light, he was drawn into the portal, vanishing from the Veilwood forever, or so it seemed. A hush fell over the kingdom. The elders murmured of the prophecies, their words heavy with dread. Queen Luthien's heart sank, for she knew this was only the beginning. The dark figure would not stop, and the kingdom that had thrived in secrecy and light now faced a threat that could unravel the very fabric of their existence. Yet within the fear lay a spark of hope. Kaelen's journey, though perilous, was the first step in a story that might restore balance to their world. The portal had chosen him, as it had chosen Moon Elves for generations. His bravery and the purity of his magic would be the kingdom's shield, or its undoing. That night, the moon shone brighter than ever, casting long silver beams across the Veilwood. Shadows danced in the mist, carrying whispers of courage and warning. And in the heart of the forest, where the air shimmered with ancient magic, the kingdom waited, holding its breath for the tale of a moon elf who dared to step into the unknown. Somewhere beyond the portal, Kaelen could feel the pulse of countless worlds, each one alive with magic, danger, and possibility. He did not yet know whether he would return, or what awaited him in those uncharted lands, but he felt a certainty in his soul. The fate of the Moon Elves was intertwined with the paths he was about to walk. And thus began the first chapter of a tale long forgotten by most, but eternal in the silver light of the moon. Kaelen tumbled through a whirlwind of silver light, the portal's magic wrapping around him like a storm. When the world finally stilled, he found himself standing on a strange terrain, bathed in an eerie twilight that was neither day nor night. The ground beneath him was smooth and glass-like, reflecting the pale sky above, streaked with colors he could not name. Strange plants swayed without wind, and distant mountains glowed faintly with an inner light. He was no longer in Veilwood, he had crossed into a world of untamed magic, a place that seemed alive in every sense. For a moment, awe silenced his fear. He had read of such realms in the old tomes, but the reality far surpassed imagination. This was a world where magic itself breathed, a land of wonder and danger intertwined. Kaelen could feel the pull of the portal's energy still lingering, guiding him forward. Somewhere in this vast expanse, the threads of his destiny, and the fate of the Moon Elves, were waiting. Yet he was not alone. From the mist emerged a creature, tall and elegant, its body shifting between forms like smoke and water. Its eyes glimmered like molten silver, and its voice echoed in Kaelen's mind rather than his ears. "You have crossed the threshold, child of the moon. Few dare, fewer survive. Why do you seek the path of light when shadows encroach?" Kaelen straightened, drawing a deep breath. "I do not seek danger," he said, his voice steady despite the pounding of his heart. "I seek to protect my people. My kingdom is in peril, and I must find a way to save it." The creature's form wavered, tilting like a reflection in disturbed water. "Noble words," it said, "but courage alone is not enough. You will face choices that tear at your heart. You will encounter beings who seem friend and foe in the same breath. To save what you love, you must understand what you fear." Before Kaelen could ask more, the ground trembled. From the glowing mountains, shadows began to spill, not merely the absence of light but a creeping darkness that devoured color and sound. Kaelen realized the warnings of Veilwood were not idle stories. The dark figure that watched his kingdom had a reach far beyond his world. He took a hesitant step forward, feeling the magic of his own blood stir. The Moon Elf's innate ability to weave moonlight into power shimmered faintly around his hands, though here it felt different, stretched thin across this foreign magic. He tried to summon a shield, and faint strands of silver spun around him, protecting him from the advancing shadows. "You are strong," the creature said, "but strength alone cannot alter fate. You must learn to see, to listen, to feel. Only then will the threads of worlds bend to your will." Kaelen nodded, though uncertainty gnawed at him. He realized that the Moon Elves' teachings in Veilwood had prepared him for many things, but this strange, shifting realm, demanded a deeper understanding of magic, of courage, and of himself. As he advanced, he saw glimpses of other travelers, beings of various forms, caught between wonder and despair, many of them ensnared by the same darkness that threatened his home. Some struggled blindly, while others had surrendered, consumed by fear. Each step Kaelen took was a test, each shadow a challenge, and he began to see a pattern in the chaos. The shadows were not merely evil. They were reflections of doubt, of temptation, of the parts of oneself one refused to acknowledge. Suddenly, a whisper of silver light caught his attention. A small figure, almost transparent, hovered nearby. Its voice was soft but insistent. Kaelen of the Moon, you are the chosen, but the choice is yours alone. Will you embrace the path of the unknown, or retreat to the safety of what you know? To falter is to doom more than yourself. Kaelen felt a pang of longing for Veilwood, the soft silver light of his kingdom, the gentle guidance of Queen Luthien, the laughter of friends long trusted. But he also felt a surge of determination. He could not return until he understood the power he had glimpsed in the portal. He had stepped into this realm not for glory, but for duty, and he would see it through. Hours, days, or perhaps only moments passed. It was impossible to tell in this place where time flowed like liquid. Kaelen's trials continued. He learned to manipulate the strange energies around him, blending his innate moonlight with the foreign magic to create shields, bridges, and even glimpses of illusion. The creature that had guided him remained a silent companion at times, its shape shifting as if testing him, teaching him the subtle ways of perception and patience. And then, as he reached a valley where the shadows thickened, he saw it. The dark figure, tall and looming, its presence absorbing the light around it. Its eyes glimmered with malice, and Kaelen knew instinctively that this was the being that had sought his kingdom. Yet it did not strike immediately. Instead, it spoke, a voice like shards of night. So, the Moon Elf dares to enter my realm. You carry the spark of your world, but will it be enough to save it, or will it simply feed my hunger? Kaelen's pulse quickened, yet he stood tall. I will not let you take my people, he said, his voice steady despite the fear coiling in his stomach. If you wish to challenge me, then come. I will face you, no matter the cost. The figure laughed, a sound that twisted the shadows around them. Very well, child of moonlight. Let us see if you are truly worthy of the magic you bear, and if your heart is strong enough to shape destiny. As the shadows surged forward, Kaelen felt the full weight of responsibility upon him. His kingdom, his people, and his own future now depended on the choices he made in this land of wonder and peril. And in that moment, under a twilight sky that mirrored the silver of Veilwood, Kaelen stepped forward, ready to fight not just for survival, but for the hope of a forgotten kingdom. The shadows coiled and shifted, writhing like living smoke as Kaelen faced the dark figure. Its presence was suffocating, a void that seemed to swallow light itself. Yet within him burned the calm silver of the moon, the magic of Veilwood flowing through his veins. He drew a deep breath, feeling the rhythm of the moon within him, and for the first time, he understood what the creature from the other realm had meant. Strength alone would not be enough. He needed clarity, courage, and the truth of his own heart. Your world is not yours to consume, Kaelen said, raising his hands. Silver light unfurled from him, threads of moonlight intertwining with the energy of this strange realm. The dark figure hissed and recoiled, but did not retreat. I am not alone, Kaelen continued, feeling the connection to Veilwood, to Queen Luthien, and to the countless generations of Moon Elves who had walked in harmony with the night. Your shadows cannot extinguish what is born of the moon. The figure struck suddenly, sending waves of darkness surging toward him. Kaelen responded instinctively, weaving his magic with threads of the foreign realm, creating a barrier that shimmered like liquid silver. Each pulse of light was a declaration, a refusal to yield. He could feel the shadows probing, testing his fears, whispering doubts into his mind. What if you fail? What if your people are lost? He forced himself to breathe, grounding his spirit in memories of Veilwood, the rustle of silver leaves, the laughter of friends, the gentle guidance of the queen. With each memory, the light grew stronger, weaving into a radiant lattice that spread across the valley. The shadows shrieked, twisting and fracturing, unable to withstand the purity of Kaelen's resolve. The dark figure's voice thundered, full of rage and hunger. You cannot defeat me, child of moonlight. I am the culmination of your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses. Kaelen paused, realizing the truth in its words. The figure was not merely an enemy, it was a reflection of what he carried within himself. The shadows fed on fear, on hesitation, on uncertainty. And yet, Kaelen understood that facing it did not mean destroying it. It meant accepting it, acknowledging it, and standing firm in spite of it. Focusing inward, Kaelen let the fear flow into the silver threads of his magic, transforming it into light. The shadows recoiled, and a brilliant wave of energy erupted from him, cascading over the valley like moonlight over Veilwood. The dark figure screamed, a sound that echoed through the fabric of the realms, before finally dissolving into mist, leaving only a faint shimmer that vanished in the rising glow. Exhausted but triumphant, Kaelen looked around. The strange realm seemed calmer, the colors more vivid, the air lighter. He could sense the portal's pull again, but this time it was gentle, welcoming rather than demanding. The creature who had guided him appeared once more, its form fluid and graceful. "You have done well, Kaelen of the Moon," it said. "Not by overpowering the darkness, but by understanding it. Your courage and heart have reshaped what was broken. The threads of worlds will remember this." Kaelen nodded, feeling a deep sense of peace. He stepped through the portal, and in a blink, the familiar silver glow of Veilwood surrounded him. The air smelled of moss and moonlight, and the soft hum of the trees welcomed him home. At the palace, Queen Luthien awaited, her eyes shimmering with relief and pride. "Kaelen," she whispered, rushing forward, "you have returned. The kingdom owes you more than words can capture." Kaelen bowed slightly, humbly. "I could not have done it without the lessons of our people, and the light that guides us," he said. "The shadows are gone, for now, but we must remain vigilant. The Veilwood will always need its guardians." Word of Kaelen's journey spread through the kingdom, carried by whispers in the silver leaves and songs of the Moon Elves. The portals that had once seemed mysterious were now seen as bridges of possibility, linking Veilwood to worlds beyond. And though the Moon Elves remained secretive, they no longer feared the unknown, for they had seen that courage, wisdom, and heart could illuminate even the darkest paths. In the nights that followed, the moon shone brighter than ever, casting silver beams over towers and bridges, over lanterns of captured starlight, over the hearts of a people awakened to the strength within them. Kaelen stood at the edge of the forest, gazing at the horizon, knowing that adventure and challenge would come again, but ready to face them with the wisdom and courage he had gained. The forgotten kingdom of the Moon Elves was no longer just a tale of beauty and isolation. It was a story of resilience, of light triumphing over darkness, and of a young elf whose courage rekindled hope. The kingdom endured, hidden yet unafraid, and the moon watched over them, eternal and unwavering, a silent guardian of those who dared to walk the paths of destiny. And so, under the silver glow, with the soft rustle of the Veilwood leaves as witness, the Moon Elves thrived once more, guardians of their magic, their legacy, and the endless possibilities that lay beneath the eternal moon.